Wer zweimal mit derselben pennt, der gehört schon zum Establishment.
Yeah, there's another girl I knew. This was the Italian girl I knew there. She also posed for me. And so many of them now. I have them in here. There's a French girl. There's an Irish girl. And there's a mix. There's Gianni also again. There's Gianni. Many women, I lost the chance to seduce them by the fact that they got undressed, and to their shock, I really was going to paint them.
I made photographs in the time. I have a big archive, much more than you saw now.
Go the hell, will you? He said, go.
I didn't think I would learn things because I had seen my Eisenstein and my Griffith, and I had seen all the movies from the beginning to the end. If there's a dream, an idea, a script, I insist on a complete 50% ownership of the film. Complete. I was in the movies like François Truffaut, who went twice a day to a cinema, twice a day. I went twice a week to the movies. We pass the grave of the Brüder Grimm. You know the Brüder Grimm? We had the three graces, and we were discussing, but who's Paris? And he would say, I would play it. Okay, I said, you play it. I never made a fortune on him. Der Film, Das Urteil des Paris, wurde aufgenommen mit einer Bolex 16 mm Kamera und 3 Objektiven. This is Peter Sorge's grave. We dedicated our film, The Urteil des Paris, to him in 2014 when we made it in the memorial of the beginning of the film in '64. And he played this sad part, is always the dead, ending the periods in the film, the passages in the film, the meeting, the encounter of Paris with Hera, with Athene, and with Venus, or Aphrodite. There's some details which one could imagine to be different, but not necessarily to be wrong.
Look here. Look here. Would you make a half nude? Would you make a half nude?
Really?
Huh? A half nude? Would you? No? No, I thought you would. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Oh, good. Strawberry fields, living is easy with eyes closed. This is a Beatles song. Yeah, that was being played. She saw me drawing, but not wishing to be ignored, she placed herself upon the seesaw facing me. There she was slowly elevated, descending without haste, rising and falling like the breathing of the sea. Each time she rose, she seemed to be a young countess, sitting upon a great horse with the air of a Velasquez canvas. She had a child's body. her breasts only larger than swollen cheeks. Their nipples, however, were wide and soft. I caressed and kissed each, while grasping blindly until my fingers were embedded within her. Her flesh seemed to melt. She pushed away my hands and guided me into her. I lifted her ever so slightly. She fell into her pillow. I descended with her. Our voices mingled into short, abrupt cries. Her mouth dripped warm ointment. My soaked soul spread open. Awkwardly I reached for her and kissed her. She became wet with sand, salt, and sperm. She closes her eyes and allows the softness of her skin, the wet warmth of her lips, to swallow my desire. I know I have not been equal to their trust, nor my own love. In the arrogance of need, I imagine you listen. Once upon a time, in the light of darkness, on the day of his coming, what centuries of cruelty and madness have passed to leave petrified a pale sky upon your face? Who shall we dine upon? Asked one raven to another. And if you kiss me, castles will fall from the sky. Here it is a virtue not to cry, even for women. You are lying, you are lying, you are lying. God, if you forget me, I'll forget you. That's Berlin. God, how I hated Berlin. She took away the summer when she left. Yet I remember nothing. All I can recall are tears and disbelief. There were no witnesses. Oh God, how lucky you are not to witness the visions of men. The devil watches and looks down upon the earth, reflecting heaven in his hate. God, why do you require so much martyrdom from the innocent? Is grief the only sound you're able to hear? Fireworks were cracking beneath us, so I did not have to listen. This was New Year's Eve. A dark young Arab sits, looking disapprovingly into space. To demonstrate his fluency, he questions me in English. Poetry, religion, sentimentality. I pause to raise his voice. All are to be destroyed. Without mercy, he roars. Well, what one can simply say is illiterate people are the ones who will be most affected by reading. But I may have already read this to you.
Es gibt eine griechische Sage, vielleicht auch eine Geschichte, in der ein goldener Apfel der schönsten gehören soll. Fluch dem idiotischen Philanthropen, der ihn gab. Zum Richter war Paris bestimmt. Armer Kerl, er ist so harmlos. Ich vermute, das war die Strafe dafür, dass er nichts anderes zu tun hatte. 3 Bewerberinnen gibt es. Athene, Hera, Aphrodite. Alle versuchten, ihn zu bestechen. Athene, Göttin der Kunst und des Wissens, bot ihm Ausstellungen, Lesungen und Konzerte. Und es war nichts als Versnobtheit. Und Paris war gelangweilt. Hera, Göttin der Macht und des Reichtums, bot sich selbst. Und es war nichts als Prostitution. Und Paris war gelangweilt. Aphrodite, Göttin der Liebe und der Weiblichkeit, versprach ihm die schönste Frau der Welt. Das war besser. Sie soll den Apfel haben. Der wird sich wundern. Sie isst ihn nur, und so war es nichts als Hunger und Appetit. Und Paris hatte keine Zeit, gelangweilt zu sein. Verbrechen und Krieg waren die Folgen seines Gewinns. Er musste seine weißen Hosen gegen einen schwarzen Anzug vertauschen. Es ist immer alles verloren. Es ist der Tod, der Auszeichnungen verleiht, und ein blinder Mann, der böse Geschichten singt. Fluch über sie. Gott erbarme sich unser.
I saw at Dickman first in 58 because we were on the same moment on the same art school. And I had no interest to speak to him, and therefore I didn't even try to speak English with him. He was working with Fritsch in the Fritsch class, and I was in the class of Gerhard Fietz, an abstract painter. I wanted to be an abstract painter myself in 58, 60, 61. My first more intimate speaking to him, sitting on the same table in a coffee place, we could speak about art and about films, and one of the most beloved films of both of us was Fellini's 8½.
And I spoke about a Berlin kind of 8½, yeah, and I compared it with Judgement of Paris and all that. Klaus was very enthusiastic. He said to me, "But that's you." yeah, you should play it, Paris, really. So I ended up having to play it, then I was directing it, and I was improvising as I went along with the idea of the Judgment of Paris, really.
He was very arrogant in a way. Always stupid people in Berlin.
I'm famous because I'm the last average person in the world.
Dickman hat irgendwann gesagt, wir müssen die Geschichte vom Urteil des Paris machen. Und dann haben wir Paris erfunden. Und ich bin Paris, hat Ed gesagt. Und der Rest der Story, die kommt darum herum, ja. Why did he come back?
Well, that will make me famous. You should look up my film on YouTube. It's called...
He had an organized life, a fantastic life in Nicolas See. Paris didn't exist. He is a figure in our film. And it is a way of having a form in the film. We needed a person that goes on from the beginning to the end. He came from America, so his first pictures looked somehow like, as far as I know them, looked like American, but the American background is not to be defined from what you see on his drawings today. There will be a time when nobody knows him, but the pictures are still there.
What nation do you think will claim him?
Does it matter?
Oh, what a son of a bitch. But he had nothing to do with directing.
He pretends, or he tries to say it's his voice. It's my film, I made the film, and Klaus has nothing to do with it. He can't be the director and be the main actor at the same time. It's very difficult. There must be somebody else behind the camera, not only one in front of the camera.
Klaus said he directed everything. He was in charge.
The film?
Paris was too busy acting.
The film? He had nothing at all to do with it, except to get things that I ordered. He wasn't directing it at all. And not a single scene was made by him. Not even one single. What kind of nonsense is that? And he himself would never say that to me, that he directed it or anything. Oh, what a son of a bitch. But he had nothing to do with directing.
Could you tell me the roles you had in the film?
Yeah, I mean, if I remember, I think the first is the market where I sell the apple to Paris.
Yeah, that's true. Klaus went off and got some apples when I needed it.
There must be other scenes where
What do you mean?
my
Why-
hand.
why-
Look, when you see the burning boats, the paper boats on the water, you can see my finger showing the boat.
I'm pretty angry with Klaus anyway.
Why?
Because first of all, not only did he steal a lot and all that, that doesn't really matter. What really matters is that he, for no reason at all, he lied and lied and lied with the film, for instance.
And with the film, we weren't on trouble in the time. I mean, we got only in trouble much later. And it was not about Christina. Again, he said, no, I mean, he was shouting to me about the affair with Christina, but this was only very, very short. No, later on he complained about me doing not enough for him as an artist in the gallery, and his failure as an artist he puts onto my shoulders.
Ed said that you applied to the film school with his film.
It's this film, our film.
And you were not accepted.
Yeah, because he made a film. This was a bad film by Dickman that doesn't help me to get onto the arts as film school, yeah? For a while I have been suffering. No. It is because the film was too amateur. It was not manneristic enough. You should have just made shot to this. This was the thing. You had to study Giga Vertov.
Well, he had taken some of my lithos, about a dozen of them, I think, and he had sold these lithos. And he was supposed to give me a commission on it. I was like this, yeah. And he took my money, not his, because he split it. And instead of, and he took that money and bought this film. And that's how it, and because he was enthusiastic about what I was saying about making a Berlin 8.5.
This money. Here. I mean, does he want to have back these 3,000 marks? What does it mean, he had problem with the money? He thinks I got some extra 3,000 for put it into my pocket. No, I want to add more film material and to repeat sceneries and so on.
How did you get your hands on it?
I don't remember, but it was paid with 3,000 marks. We want to make a film. We need 3,000 marks. It was just 3,000 marks. I knew a lawyer who said, if you need some more money. Yeah, and Ed wouldn't have known these people. He didn't know this lawyer. He didn't know the other sponsors.
How did you get your hands on it?
I didn't ask my parents because my parents had to pay my studies. But it's 3 minutes, 30 meters. No, 11 meters for 3 minutes.
How did you get your hands on it?
I gave lithographs from Ed. Ed forced people to buy work by him. Ed paid it with his lithographs. He didn't sell lithographs at all. There later is a lot of work. I didn't sell this little drawing since 2 months. Nobody buys right now. If you buy it, hand me 1,000 euros.
How much for that self-portrait?
Yeah, this is something I have to make up my mind.
What did he say? He doesn't. He says the most nonsense stuff, really. But all right, what? Which was it? Sort of orange and that sort of. Yeah. This was a portrait which much earlier than that. When I would. And I looked like an olive tree. It was a bad picture, but I gave this to Klaus, and he was constantly trying to sell that too. But that was one of my gifts to my slave.
Oh, don't do that.
Now it's already better.
Oh, what a son of a bitch. But he had nothing to do with directing.
Ja, ich bin Klaus Martens. Ich habe 1964 mit Ed Dickman diesen Film gemacht. Und hier ist das Negativ, das sich zwischen dem 19. Juni und irgendwann Ende Juni, in 14 Tagen, uns gefügt hat, die Aufnahmen hier quer durch Berlin zu machen. Ein Sechzehntel haben wir diesen Film genannt. Das erklärt sich sehr ambitioniert aus der Tatsache, dass der berühmteste Film oder unser am meisten bewunderter Film der Zeit 8,5 von Fellini war. Und bei Fellini ist das eine Zählung seines Werks. Von La Strada und schon vom Weißen Scheich voran hat er gezählt. Und dieser Film ist die Mitte seiner Arbeit, kann man sagen, 8,5. Der halbe Film ist eine Passage in einem Film, den er mit anderen zusammen gemacht hat. Und wir haben dies reduziert von 8 auf 1 und von 1,5 auf 1/16. Und dann haben wir gesagt, 1/16, weil der Film, unser erster Film, und auf 16 mm gedreht. Negativ, positiv, geschnitten nach einem Positivmuster, das wir glatt geklebt haben und danach das Negativ und nachher hatten wir eine glatte Positivkopie, eine geschnittene Positivkopie ohne Nahtstellen. Die konnte also normalerweise nicht reißen, ist er auch nie. Aber der Film ist verloren gegangen, den gibt es nicht mehr, diese Version. Hier ist das Negativ, hier ist der Anfang des Ganzen.
Klaus really, he's so determined to make himself famous or something. I don't know what he's thinking about. But he really had very little to do with anything, except as a thief.
But look, I found out with my calendar, with my diaries. I met Christine 1 year before she met him. Here is the first time I know the name. This is the day when I met her. This is the 26th of May, 63. 1 year before the war, before the film. Ed is very helpless, and he makes you feel you have to help him. And he succeeded to make me his slave. For a while I have been suffering, but now it's past. I met Christine 1 year before she met him. We had 1 year before the film was made that I met her in July 63, and the film only was begin in June 64. Ed took advantage for the fact that I brought Christine to him, and she, and now if we speak clear text, they have been in the bed together, but the night must have so bad that in the very night she came crying to me in Leibnizstraße and said, I have been engaged for 2 hours or 3 hours. He was trying always to get hold of the girls in our circle. He's running after every girl like Harpo.
And she's 26. Oh. And I point out, how can he be jealous of an 85-year-old man? Well, she's terribly happy in that sense. There's an Italian girl. And there's another girl I knew, another one I knew. So many of them now. Oh, there's my mother, Scotch woman.
As a gallery owner, what was it like showing work from Ed? In many cases, he steals your woman, he paints her, he fucks her, gives you the paintings to sell.
No. This never came to my brain. I mean, for me, the picture was a picture. I didn't consider it was a yes or no, this was Christina or no, or whether she was my lover or no.
But you're selling these pictures. And
A picture of Christine. I wonder.
Is he mad when she was completely knew the pictures were there, the big painting? And he was there when he didn't know she was made. I have lots of pictures of her he even knew.
Did he tell you which pictures are Christine?
Oh, there's Christina again.
Oh, let me see, Christine.
This is Christina once more.
Oh, let me see. I can't see because of paper.
Uh-huh. That's her. Oh, no. And this is Christina. And there's another picture of Christina. Oh, that's Christina again, yeah. That's Christina, yeah. I was pretty enthused by breasts. I'm sort of enthused by breasts, actually.
Is that Christine?
No, she was right after my divorce, actually.
Maybe a tiny drawing. But there is no picture where you can expressively define her as a figure.
But, I mean, what kind of madness? He didn't know. I mean...
For a while she was in a big painting, but he painted her over. There is no real figure of hers in the actual painting. I can't tell you where she is.
Cold, cold, cold. Here we are. Cold, cold, cold. Jesus, God, it takes a long time. Here, listen. Oh, here we are.
Where the hell are we, Edwin?
God damn it! Where was this coming from? Why?
Berlin 1966, this is after the war. Not when they were putting it up. Berlin 1966. A bowed tree shade the ash-gray alley with light green blossoms as children spotting pink sunlight run past. Its pavements halt against cobblestones cut away abruptly by the wall's edge. The wall, ancient pointless fence, set in a waste abandoned and sunk, rusted barbed wire glued like thorns upon it, its height hardly higher than a tall man. More movement.
Well, my film, you know, was an amateur film. 3 ladies, yeah. I knew them all. I was romantically involved with all 3. In one case before the filming, well, 2 cases basically before. One after, a little bit afterwards also, and one before, after, and after.
But never during.
During too.
Yeah.
Oh, the one I was very actively involved in during too.
Who was that?
Well, that would have been Christina.
Were the other ones jealous?
No, I don't think so. They never gave me an indication they were. Yeah. I was too. The other 2 didn't even realize what I was filming. Yeah, they really didn't. They took it terribly serious, though both were opposites to one another. Yeah, but they took it. Angela was so convinced that she was finding the true mystical things of life, really.
Ich könnte da jetzt eigentlich nur sagen, dass bei dem, was heutzutage Kunst zum Teil genannt wird, dass da keine Honesty dabei ist und dass die am teuersten gehandelt werden. Für mich sind das zum Teil, denke ich, wenn ich so ein Bild sehe, das ist ein Stoffmuster oder das wäre jetzt gerade eine gute Tapete oder sowas. Also, und das heißt große Kunst und die Künstler werden geehrt, wie blöde. Das verstehe ich überhaupt nicht, aber das ist zeitenimmanent und meine Güte. Ich denke, dass Ed zum Beispiel zu den Künstlern gehört, die in 50 Jahren noch wahrgenommen werden.
It was even funny, once I went to a costume party, but Angela was dressed up as a cat or something, you know, and she had a mask and all that. And somebody told me, oh, that's Angela. So I already knew. Yeah. But it was funny, she asked me who she was, you know, testing me. And I said, well, let me look into your eyes, you know, which was completely a lie, Irish. Yeah. Oh, that must be Angela. And that was it when I said, that's Angela. Immediately I knew you would. It was great. Later on.
Was Henry Miller nice, gentlemen?
he was like my father. Henry.
He became her lover. She told me, you know, when he makes sex into philosophy.
That's what Miller, Henry, thought. She's an angel from hell, because angel, Angela von Dempfer, means, if you can speak French, Angèle d'Enfer. And then he wrote me that letter I have somewhere from the airport. He must go back because of his children. And he will come back.
Did he ever come back? We came back
Yes,
3 times.
He came back, but I didn't. I wasn't there.
Where were you?
Up in Paris. Such is life. Yes, I liked him.
You can actually get a girl to sleep with you by talking about philosophy with her, which I would never have been able to do in Scotland or Ireland or in France or Spain. No chance if you use that approach. But in Germany, yeah, you could. You know, pray before the Buddha before making love. Yeah. Yeah, it was super. Now, when Gretchen was quite different. She was, first of all, she was rather formal. She was very big in a way, very big breasts, very big everything. Yeah.
What color eyes did Gretchen have?
Gretchen had brown eyes. Yeah, yeah. No, I do pretty well with the eyes. Yeah, yeah.
Ja, das ist völlig überfrachtet, gedanklich überfrachtet in dem Film und das versteht man nicht. Das konnte man damals auch nicht verstehen. Also. Ja, es gibt noch andere merkwürdige Sachen in dem Film, also ja auch ein bisschen doof sind, ja, da in dem Möbelhaus Hübner, ne, wo dann kommt ja der Tod und schenkt dann den Sekt ein und also ist ja Christine, ne, Hera, trinkt den Sekt und dann legt sie sich aufs Bett und da liegt da ein Skelett, also das ist auch ein bisschen plump, sowas, ne. Now in this film, here is Paris who can choose among 3 beautiful women. The real Paris should be a beautiful man.
Gretchen was a problem because she was a bit taller than me and much more powerful. And this also, this wasn't my way of, you know, I didn't want the girl to be able to pick me up.
Ich habe Ede das letzte Jahr gefragt, warum hast du mich als zu Aphrodite genommen? Da hat er mir etwas geantwortet, was mir nicht gefallen hat. Ich werde es hier auch nicht sagen. Ich habe gedacht, er sagt vielleicht, na, du warst so ein hübsches Mädchen. Das hat er aber nicht gesagt, sondern was anderes, was mich eher, was mir nicht gefallen hat. Es ist eben so ein Anfängerfilm, finde ich. Ne? Ich habe meinen Sohn extra mitgenommen, damit er mal sieht, wie seine Mutter früher war. Ja? Ich war 42, als ich meinen Sohn bekommen habe, also er kannte mich weder mit 30 noch mit 20 natürlich erst recht nicht. Andere Sachen, also manche Sachen haben mich sehr gestört, also auch was so in dem Film zum Beispiel nicht rausgeschnitten wurde, also wo ich auch beteiligt bin. Also warum schwimme ich da im Grunewaldsee? Ist das der Grunewaldsee? Ich glaube. Ede auf so einem alten Tretboot und dann ziehe ich mich da hoch und schaffe es nicht. Und mach so, lasst es bloß sein, aber das bleibt drin, ja, finde ich blöd.
Yeah, like a boom. Yeah. And Gretchen was constantly anxious to talk about politics.
Ich war, wie ich ja gerade schon sagte, politisiert durch diese politischen Verhältnisse da, Vietnamkrieg und so weiter. Ich war bei vielen Demonstrationen, ich war an der FU, um Dutschke zu hören und die anderen. Very often there had been manifestations, I remember very, very well, and that we run and shouted, Ho Chi Minh, and like this, you know.
I remember we said, LBJ, hey, 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 LBJ, how many kids did you kill today? We were going through the streets and then shouting this. LBJ, Lyndon B. Johnson, yeah. How many kids did you kill today? We were involved in the 67, 68 with the demonstrations against the Vietnam War. There was a group of American students in Berlin building the US campaign against the war in Vietnam. And this is it's a documentation on the art auction that took place in...
To support North Viet Cong.
To support North Vietnam.
What are they saying about the auction?
Nochmal die Wahrheit. This was a communistic newspaper. And you see, this is Peter Sorge and this is me.
Why are you...
I wasn't asked about my opinion. I just organized it. The US campaign in Berlin makes an auction of graphic and painting of German artists. The work is shown from the 22nd to the 27th of April 1968 in the Leyden Gallery, Bergstraße 20. It was postponed for 1 or 2 weeks because of the, wie heißt das, Attentat on Rudi Dutschke. Springer didn't favor the anything against the Americans nor against the Jews. And here is Edwin Dickman. And he has a daughter and he has another son. He has 3 children. The last son, the youngest son, is disappeared. His wife was going to another man who was a pederast. This is a high-value document.
Oh my God.
Possibly the only document.
This is the original document, pretty much the foundation of the 68.
Yeah.
But you must have gotten the idea that Klaus is not well. That's not uncommon, you know, in Germany, that from his generation. Klaus was 9 years old when the war ended. He lived in the east, and near where on the Baltic Sea, which is now Poland now. I could imagine that having to leave refugees from his home and so on and life there would have a major effect in his life. And I think, and he was he was the one son, and he was rather spoiled, I think. He had real problems, I think. And certainly his desperation. For instance...
I came to Berlin in '58, and I came here in the same year as Ed. I was accepted by the art school here. Oh, it was nice, life in Berlin. When the Russian came in '45, when the war was over, my father faced no heritage, nothing. No history. I mean, we had a strong history. We were Prussian, German. My mother was in a Polish jail. My father was a prisoner of the Russians. I was sad about not having my father, not having my sister, not having my mother. It was a very strange situation. It won't be possible to be understood in the future. In '33 already, the Bauhaus was dismissed. Kandinsky was in Paris, Klee in Switzerland, and Feininger in '36 went to America. And well, yes, and Joseph Albers was teaching on the Black Mountain College. The Bauhaus was continued in Chicago and in America. It's difficult to understand, even for a German. But in these days, we had four forces in Berlin: the Russian, the American, the British, and the French. And they had the sectors. It's the same situation it was with the arts. In the East, we had the social realism. In the West, we could do whatever we wanted. And some people say we were forced to paint abstract. We wanted to paint abstract. And it wasn't Jackson Pollock to tell us how to paint abstract. I'm not interested in what happened after Jackson Pollock. Jackson Pollock itself is enough. It's more than enough. This gestische Malerei, or deliberate doing whatever, is not mine. We are following a line that is more to do with Klee and Kandinsky, and later on with maybe something of the French and something of the English, like Bacon.
Could you define the German culture?
Immanuel Kant.
Not Kant.
Kant.
Kant is like vagina. Kant.
Kant. Immanuel Kant. K-A-N-T. Hallo? Du hörst! Pass auf, pass auf. Der hat aus irgendeinem Grunde angefangen, sich für Edwin Dickman zu interessieren. Im Hintergrund steht Springer und die Bild-Zeitung. Ach, das ist dir egal. Christine, wo ist dein sozialistischer Gesinnung?
Her beauty is not hers, nor my dream of it mine, no more than the color of roses and flowers, or the sight of them eyes. My notes have failed. She thought them poetry and not love letters. For the moment she passes, her eyes make a shy curtsy as if I touched her. What a pretty creature you are. It makes my heart glad to see you, I whisper to the wind. Trees walk by. I hear echoes from her footsteps in their flight. Look of a pretty girl promises love, but she's dreaming. She blushes, and I, with hope, wonder, have I, while she slept, found a way into her dreams? That's pretty.
Ich liebe diesen Film, insbesondere den ganzen Part meiner Person. Ich habe dort in diese Rolle der Prostituierten, Hera, das war irgendwie absolut abgefahren. Also anders kann man das überhaupt nicht beschreiben.
I loved her, or rather I loved the part she pretended to play. Since her role was my creation, I did not notice what a bad actress she was.
Es gibt Verstimmungen oder gab Verstimmungen zwischen Ed und mir wegen Christine, die Hera spielt. Aber es ist heute falsch, jetzt den Film und ihre Rolle im Film, da ist sie nämlich Hera, die Göttermutter, die Reiche und die auf der Straße Prostitution betreibt. Das hat gar nichts damit zu tun, wie wir die Biografie von Christine betrachten. Nein, ich war mit Christine befreundet und habe mit ihr zusammen im Café Ed Dickman getroffen, zufällig.
She posed for me very long. Really. Every woman I had known, I always was, first, the most important thing was to make a picture of her. I don't ask her to, normally, I don't ask her like in art college, don't move.
Ich saß im Modell für ein sehr großes Bild, was er zu dieser Zeit in Arbeit hatte. Und und ich weiß, dass ich also verwöhnt wurde mit Weintrauben und französischem Käse, und ich saß dann auf einem, das war dann also alles eben halt sehr bohemmäßig. Als ich mich entlobte Also als ich ihm sozusagen sagte, ich werde ihn nicht heiraten, hatte er dann dieses Bild, also wo er mich mit meiner Figur sozusagen, das hat er dann zerstört malerisch. Es wurde über...
It's really exciting because you have something alive, a beautiful thing very much alive. I often have very quickly a relationship, a tension between me and the model.
Es war wie in einem Film, also als wenn es nicht in der Realität ist. Also es gab kein Vorspiel. Also wir waren euphorisiert, wir waren vielleicht auch erotisiert. Also jetzt Edwin und ich. Und dann kam es sozusagen, dass er über uns nachgedacht und er erklärte mir seine Liebe. Er gab mir einen Ring und es war irgendwie so. Und ich sagte ja. Ja, ich sagte ja. Und bin dann mit ihm er ist jetzt ganz intim in sein Atelier gegangen und habe die Nacht mit ihm verbracht. Habe dort aber nicht die Nacht bis zum nächsten Morgen, sondern bin in der Nacht aufgestanden und habe mich angezogen.
I wonder that she came crying, meet me in Wilmersdorf at night time. I met her. I don't know what she told you, but I tell you, I have the idea that she was crying. She was about her. She didn't know what she did.
It may well be that when I proposed marriage, twice she said yes, actually. She was also at the same time with Klaus at the time. I don't know. She was like a butterfly, what she said about herself. She had, Christine was a marvelous woman, really. But she was, yeah, she's a little bit when she's not near the man she loves the man she's near.
Ist mein Ältester. Also mein ältester Verliebter.
No, I'm in love with Christine.
Das ist auch kein Geheimnis. Es ist für mich ist der Klaus Martens für Edwin eine einzige Behinderung. Ich bräuchte eigentlich einen anderen Galeristen. Ja? Das hier, das kannst du vergessen. Ich kriege wirklich eine Krise.
I mean, I provoked it with laughing at him. No, I realized it couldn't be. I mean, Ed can't quit his. He is a maniac or what? He can't be objective. He couldn't adapt to the reality.
Do you feel responsible in contributing to his financial demise as his representative?
I can't. I'm too poor. I will have to close my gallery.
The hell?
Klaus, really. Ooh. I'm wobbling a bit.
We had the three graces and we were discussing about who's Paris. And he would say, I would play it. Okay, I said, you play it. Yeah. Yeah. If there's a dream, an idea, a script, I insist on a complete ownership of the film. Complete. This balances it. I never made a fortune on him. His failure as an artist, he puts onto my shoulders.
really don't. I really don't. Because I'm fed up. I don't want to continue it. No, Klaus. I really don't. I really don't.
What the hell?
I don't want to be too close to Klaus. I'll be on this side. I'll be on this side then. I'm not doing it. I actually don't want to have Klaus make a photo of me. I'm not interested. Yeah, I really had enough of him. I'll be on this side then. I don't want to be seen with him.
In the time we said, oh, it's time to go to see 8½ again. Fellini's famous 8½. We were quite ambitious. We wanted to be as good as Fellini, at least. And there was one very important fact, that in the time we wanted to have every shot being done as a good photograph. It starts with a nice photograph. You must make every shot like a good photo.
How are you?
I am. I'm sniffing a bit.
No opportunities to
what?
to make good with Klaus.
I'm not going to make good with Klaus. I've had that. I mean, that's all finished now. 30 years ago, I should have dropped the whole thing. I lost an awful lot. I mean, it's quite serious what he did. And it doesn't matter, but he's such a... I don't mind somebody being a cheat and a liar, but I do mind if he's a petty cheat and a stupid liar. Then he's got to at least give me a reasonable story. I'm angry at myself every time I see him and think what he got away with for so long. That's my... If I were younger, he'd be laying on the floor now. Yeah. But already I have an Irish accent when I speak to him. That would have been dangerous when I was young, when it turned Irish. Yeah.
Now go to hell, will you? You said it. Really, go to living hell. You miserable dog.
Oh, what the hell? It's a nice graveyard. Berlin has very nice graveyards, actually. Very nice. Good place to be, really. Ooh. I'm wobbling a bit.
So what is what's your take on how it went today with you and Edward?
Huh?
Edwin, how was today with you and Edwin?
Nothing. No communication.
So I guess he'll take it to his grave.
Huh?
You think he'll take it to his grave? Or will he make amends?